Hi, now we're going to talk about social media and its importance for potential international business development. When you think about social media, some of the basic things that you need to bear in mind is who will be using this. Social media isn't for everyone, and if you're thinking about international business as well, internet penetration itself isn't necessarily going to be at the same level in the country that you are focusing as well. As part of our Passport to Trade 2.0 project, we've looked at 31 European countries, and we've identified that there are some major differences in the way that some countries perceive social media, or even more, the internet, for their business relationship development. One of the interesting things that we'll look at now is what is social media and how it could help you to develop international business. We'll also look at 4 different strategies that you could use, and we'll look at the issue of creating a social media policy to help you as a business to think about it in a long-term approach. Right, first of all, social media, what is it? We keep talking about it, we keep hearing it on radio, on TV, everybody's referring to it. But because it's such a new term, there are multiple definitions. And you can choose the one that we've got here on the screen to just give you a flavor of what one is. Essentially, social media means referring or using a social network for your communication. What is a social network? Likewise, social network has multiple definitions, and the social network that we are referring to here is YouTube, for example, but you can think about the same social network on Twitter, Facebook, on some of the other platforms out there. But the whole idea is that everybody is able to engage with everybody else almost at the same time, and there is an opportunity to become social, i.e. talking to one another.
The thing about social media is it allows you to connect with people from across the globe. So if you have a need that's very, very specific, and there's, say you're a manufacturing company in England somewhere, and you're manufacturing something very technologically advanced, you might want to source a manufacturer in a different country to provide parts into your manufacturing process. You can use social media to actually source those companies and build relationships with them. Usually it would be something along the lines of LinkedIn or a B2B platform rather than something like Facebook, because you're trying to approach individuals that are actually engineers or in the body of the company rather than the customer-facing side of the company. So you find that social media is a great platform for actually connecting with people who have subject specialist expertise that can really help you in developing your business or your trade.
So, it's not necessarily a new idea, but it is something that's certainly becoming more popular nowadays, because some platforms like Twitter and Facebook are becoming so easily accessible, and making it easier for everybody to engage with. So if you're thinking about social media, one of the key issues that we need to differentiate in here is that a lot of people confuse that if they're going to be on social media, they're going to be selling things, which isn't a bad idea. However, a commonly made mistake is that people confuse selling with marketing. Social media is great for selling, but the one thing that it is very good at as well is for marketing. And one thing that differentiates selling and marketing is that in marketing we do try and understand the consumer first before we develop our products and services and offer it to them. So if you think about the latest product that you've developed or you've decided to sell, how did you go about understanding what customers' needs were? And the other thing that you need to bear in mind is that your customers will be interacting with you whether you like it or not. Sometimes it's not the whether to choose to use social media or not. It is just a matter of making sure that you have a response plan to this. If you're a hotel or a restaurant, chances are there are a number of customers who have visited your premises and have posted a review on many social networks, i.e. TripAdvisor. So next time somebody else is trying to think about making that decision, they are likely going to be visiting that site because it does tend to be much more impartial, and it does tend to give you a better flavor of what the actual location is. So now we've decided that social media is important from your point of view, and you're thinking about trading with a country abroad. How do you know who will be using that social network and in which country? So one thing that could potentially help you is the Passport to Trade Project's businessculture.org website, which lists for 31 European countries a number of different social networks. This will give you an inspiration. The other tool that you can use is the Google Ad Planner. Google Ad Planner is giving you a great opportunity to type in any social network out there, and it gives you a very basic overview about the age profile and the different users who might be using that same network. Okay, so now you've decided that you're going to use social network in a particular country. So how are the different strategies going to be formulated? What is it that you want to get out of these as a business? Generally, when we're approaching this and we're discussing with companies what they want to do with social media, chances are your needs will fall into one of the four categories. First of all, you might be interested in providing customer support. So if somebody is interested to find out or talk to you about something, they might be able to send you a social media-based message. They might not want to pick up the phone. They might not want to use an email, but they might still be wanting to interact with yourself. So if you make yourself more accessible, or if you set up web pages for people to contribute to, for example, if you have your own Facebook page and your customers are able to post comments on that rather than posting them all over the place, it does give you an opportunity to direct the messages that you're getting and reply to those straight away. So that's the first strategy that you can have, essentially customer support. The second strategy that you might be interested in is marketing. So marketing, as I mentioned before, refers to the understanding of your consumer needs or the things that they might be interested in, and then developing the products and services to suit those. So if you are thinking about developing new products, try and listen what other people are talking about your current products, about the products of your competitors, or what are the common complaints that people have. So if you look at the issues that people tend to be disagreeing with or having trouble with, and you identify a solution to those issues, how about developing those products and services to make it better for your consumers? So that's marketing. The third technique that people do tend to use is selling. Selling is a viable technique, and one of the things that we've mentioned before, it's different from marketing. Selling is a vital technique as well as marketing, but there is a vital difference with selling. You are emphasizing developing relationships with key influencers, i.e. individuals on social media platforms. These could be bloggers or Twitter users or anybody else who has a large following or a large audience of people, and then interacting with that individual and also then asking them to either endorse your products or use your products or services in one way. This is why quite a recent development that's happened in the UK, that a number of bloggers were receiving a number of free gifts from a number of commercial organizations. And these bloggers would then blog or write a story about this particular product, which is great from their point of view. They're receiving a product and they write a review about this. And from the company's point of view, they're getting great exposure, a number of readers as a result of this blog. So recent development is suggesting that if you happen to be the blogger or if you happen to be the organization, you have to be transparent about this. The fact that you have sent a free gift, or I don't know if it is a makeup product or if it is a present or a certain bottle of wine or champagne, that has to be acknowledged whenever the review is written. That gives that a bit of transparency and makes it a bit clearer to the person why that particular influencer is talking about this. So we talked about marketing, we talked about selling, we talked about customer support, and the last one is operations. So operations is certainly one of the things that people often ignore. But if you think about organization as you might be in, i.e. a small business or a large organization, chances are you can get your employees to talk to one another using social media as well. It just keeps them all up to date of what is going on and makes your life that bit easier. So if you're thinking about your social media use, one important thing that you need to bear in mind is, when you're writing your strategy, is which one of the four themes are you trying to develop? Is it going to be sales, marketing, customer support, or operations within your organizations? And you also need to be clear to your employees and set out a very clear guideline to all how you want them to behave on social media networks and how to respond to issues that might not be in line with what you want to achieve.
The next step of our content plan for our salon client, we needed to integrate it with everything else that was going on. We didn't want Facebook siloed from all of the other activity. So we took into account what the PR company was doing, what the SEO company was doing. We looked at calendar events, the overall marketing plan from the salon, and we integrated this all together into a master plan that we will then use for the year. We then kind of spiced up the plan with a little bit of creative brainstorming, because with Facebook especially, out of all of the social media platforms, every single post, no matter how small it is an opportunity to be creative and an opportunity to get some attention for the brand. Maybe that one post will be shared 5,000 million times if you do it right. If you've not heard of the Oreo cookies you can dunk in the dark post, it was just a square image that Oreo cookies did when the Super Bowl electricity cut out. And it was a tiny little image, but it was probably one of the most successful social media images of the past few years, and it was absolute genius. So just that one update can make all the difference. Content is still key on Facebook, and it's one of the most massive areas for pushing your messages and getting that content right for people who are looking at it on mobiles, or for people who are looking at it on a desktop, or for people who are interested in images, or people who are interested in video. Getting that variety right and getting each message right is key on Facebook. It's just about being creative with what you're saying. However, and I hate to bring ads into it, but you really don't have to pay a fortune for ads on Facebook, and we've now started running ads on all of our accounts, just really low level, and they bringing back really targeted likes. So if you run a competition on Facebook, you're going to get all of the competition junkies liking your page, and that kind of works if your competition's for something related to the brand. So we run a GHD competition, and obviously anybody who wants a GHD is still interested in our brand. But there's also a lot of people there who aren't really engaging with Facebook in general, aren't really engaging with the brand, and just want something for free. So if we run ads, we found we're actually getting a lot better clientele on the Facebook page, because we can target the ads. We can target the ads to our competitors. We can target the ads to people who like brands that we sell. And we can even target by age. We can put ads out there saying, it's your birthday this week, would you like 20% off a haircut or a free haircut, happy birthday? And this kind of messaging really works for the Facebook audience, and it's started to work for our salon clients.
Once you've built that, you share interesting content that people react to and engage with. So it may be something that people can learn from. It may be a comment piece so people can comment on your profile. You can do that one of two ways. You can go on to LinkedIn groups, which is where you engage in a conversation and add value to the conversation. So if you're looking to work with Accountants International, you go to groups of accountants. If you want to go to IT or engineering, you go into the relevant group. So you go into your target group. There's also the search functionality, which means you can search people's status updates. So similar to your Twitter search or now your Facebook graph search, you can actually search for what you're looking for. So I can search for Twitter marketing in Manchester or LinkedIn marketing in Manchester within first degree, second degree or third degree of separation. So LinkedIn, again, linking into that, it actually links into the 60 degrees of separation model. So a friend of a friend of a friend is a friend, or a business connection is a business connection of a business connection. So people know people, people like people, people meet people they trust, and their connections they therefore trust implicitly. So that's how LinkedIn works for me, and LinkedIn can work for you internationally.
So to recap, social media is a great tool for international business development. It allows you to cut across borders, and it also gives you an opportunity to reach audiences that you've never been able to reach before. There are generally 4 strategies that you can use for your social media use, and it's something that you need to bear in mind when you're writing your social media policy.